Hi BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie and so it's been a crazy December and this might be the only other video other than the one I filmed a week ago on my potential winter TBR that I'm going to film because Christmas is right around the corner and I'm working all the way up until Christmas Eve, I think. And then I do have some days coming up that are off, but I might be going out of town. I don't know yet. But so I do have one other day off, so I might be able to film something then for you guys. But right now I'm just going to do this tag for you guys, the 12 Days of Christmas book tag. I saw Kate Howe doing this tag, so I will post maybe a link to her video or the person and maybe I'll find the creator of this tag. I don't know, but you guys know how this works. So here are the 12 Days of Christmas. Okay, so A Partridge in a Pear Tree, favorite standalone, and it was between two books, but the original choice I was gonna go with fits the answer in another prompt on here, and I don't want to do it twice, so I'll use the same book twice. And I do love this book just as much, and that is The Historian by Elizabeth Costovo. This is historical fiction set in the 60s and also in the 40s or 50s. In the 50s, I think. And you have our narrator, whose name is unknown. Her father is a historian, and when she discovers this book with a dragon on it in her father's library, she finds out that her father learned years ago from his own mentor that Dracula might still be alive. And so it takes the myth and the historical figure Prince Dracula and mixes it together as if he really was a vampire, as the novel implies. So, as the original Dracula novel implies. And, it's a, story within a story within a story. You have her father telling the story of her telling her story, and then hearing the story, her father's story, about his encounter, what he learned from his mentor, and then his mentor telling his story. And in all three versions, they're trying to find the grave of Dracula. This is really good. I love the writing. I just fell right into the story. I love the characters. There's a little bit of romance. There's like 3 romance plots. I like the plot between the father and the woman who ends up becoming our narrator's mother. And it's just such a good story. I don't think every vampire fan will love this though, because it's not big on the vampire action. It's more subtle vampire stuff. There's probably even like more vampire stuff in Dracula than there is in this book. It's just very atmospheric and creepy and unsettling, and it's the whole idea of the shadow of Dracula and vampires, his minions maybe potentially coming after our characters. And I'm a big nerd, so I love the history aspects and them doing the research. I know that probably will bore other people. I know there were some reviews that were just so shocked that people love this book, but I just love it. It was so much fun, and like I said, just atmospheric, and this was just so great. Such a such a great standalone, and I already have another one for books I'm gonna read soon. So that is my standalone. The next one, I don't have a book to show you guys because I listened to these two books via audiobook. Well, one of them I actually got from the library, so I didn't have a physical copy at one time, but it was a borrowed copy from the library. And then I listened to the first book on audio. And that is from the second trilogy in the Caraval world, and so the prompt is 2 turtle doves, as you guys know, and it's your favorite OTP, your favorite ship. And I picked Jax and Evangeline. I know that Jax has some issues, and he's kind of antagonistic. He is particularly antagonistic in the previous trilogy. But, it's, first of all, they're fictional anyway, so I can love them if I want to. and they are just so cute together, and she brings out a different side to him, and they're so cute. And I want him to get a clue and to realize that Evangeline could be his true love, and Tella's not the only one who can save him. And it's gonna piss me off because he's not only destroying, hurting, breaking Evangeline's heart, but he's also, he's gonna destroy my other favorite couple in the Caraval world, all because he thinks that Tella's the only one who can save him. And I just love them, and I want Prince Apollo to go away. I don't like him. I don't trust him. And then he just did something that is unforgivable to me. What he does to Evangeline at the end of the book. That was not right, in my opinion. He goes about in, and that was selfish on his part. So I hope, and I'm assuming, although I don't think I have to worry, I'm pretty sure that Garber will give them a happy ending. Give Jax and Evangeline a happy ending. I trust her. Okay, so problem number 3 is now we're on to 3 French hens. Favorite trilogy. So this one is a bit of a cheat. Because, like I said, because I did try to stick to the books I read this year, and I haven't finished any other. This is the only trilogy I've ever finished, and I cannot remember the other trilogy I've read, and I don't know if they would consider them my favorites or not. I mean, like, I have read other trilogies, like, I really loved the School for Good and Evil when it was still a trilogy. Now he's written another trilogy that I'm currently reading, but I didn't finish because, well, something kind of, I had to return the books to the library. And then it was, it was around Thanksgiving, so it was like right after Thanksgiving Day, so the library was still closed, then we were going to go out of town, and so I kind of had to return the book. So I don't get a chance to return. I mean, I guess I could go to the library if I wanted to, but it's just like the holidays are coming up, and I want to focus on my own books. So I'm gonna wait until January to finish that trilogy, the Camelot years. So I only have one answer. So this answer is just because it's the trilogy I just finished. I mean, I literally finished it the other night. So I think I finished the last book. And that is this one, the First Law trilogy. I love this trilogy. It was so much fun. This is a very character-driven trilogy, and it's about, like, it's a war story. Damn it. I thought I could get through this video without doing that, without coughing. But it's like, the characters are very flawed, a lot of shades of gray. They're very complex characters. None of them are really heroes. They all did some shitty things. I love all the characters. They're all, even though they're kind of horrible, selfish people, they're also likable characters. And like I said, one of the characters that I didn't like in the beginning, I love now by the last book. I liked his character growth and how much he grew as a person. And it's just, and I like how the story shows that, you might have defeat the bad guy, you might win, you might have a happy ending, but it's not going to be like, or it's going to be a satisfying ending to your problem, but it's not going to be necessarily happy, and there's going to be some flaws, and, I like how it has an ending that's kind of, like, little, not a fairy tale ending, not a happy, 100% happy ending. There's a lot of, it's not completely, like, what is it, the bow, tied up with a bow kind of thing, kind of ending, and, I like how it was one of those trilogies where it was like, you had a bunch of little bad guys, but there was one character that I was kind of certain to think that, okay, they're the main antagonist, but they're not, like, they're the real threat, but they're, like, we don't really wild, but there's a bunch of little people behind the scenes doing things. I remember being a little disappointed that we didn't get a lot of Bethod because I thought he was going to be the antagonist. But then, and I still would have loved to get more of him. But it turns out, but I do realize he was, I don't think, in the end, I don't think he was the main antagonist of the story. He was just another obstacle that they had to deal with. I don't know who was my favorite in that trilogy, but it was just because I liked all of them, all the main characters. It was so fun and Joe Abercrombie's just great with details, graphic details of really describing, really getting you down in the nitty gritty, dirty, or some, all the ugly side of war and how it just bugs me in stories whenever people when men glorify wars. I'm gonna die in battle, and then they get mad at those male characters that don't want to do that. That was this happened in Once Upon a Time with Rumpelstiltskin's character. He was a normal guy, and there was these ogre wars happening in the fairy tale in the Enchanted Forest, and he does go to war, but then he gets this prophecy that he's gonna have his wife is pregnant and stuff, so he wants to go and be there for her, take care of her, take care of the child, be a father to their child. That's what he wants to do. But of course, he's fighting ogres, so in the middle of a war, so his only option is either getting killed or getting seriously injured. And he gets bullied and ridiculed and called a coward for his choice. And maybe, injuring himself was not the smartest choice in the world, but it was what other option did he have except for dying? And he wanted to be there for his wife and his child, but then his wife is like, you didn't die in glory, I'm not an honored widow, and everyone just makes fun of him and, bullies him about it, and that just always drove me nuts about that plot point. Is how, which it just mean it wasn't bad. That's not the thing that was bad about why I was not happy with the writing. There's other things about the writing that I was not happy with when it came to that show. That was a probably a realistic plot point, is that people would act like that, but it's because I'm sure there are men who still think, who might have still thought that way at the time, and I just wanted to punch those people in the face. Those people piss me off because war is not like that. In this trilogy, it reflects what war is really like. It's chaotic. It's brutal. Not every man wants to go kill and fight. Not everybody's, there are a lot of men that are all about the fighting. There's a character that I think is really funny in this that we don't meet until the last book, who is very much all about dying glory and fighting, and he's all about the fight, and he's the pleasure of violence and everything is fun for him. And the other characters, Dogman and Logan, are like, what, are you nuts? You crazy, man? But yeah, it's a fun trilogy. I really like it. It was great. And hopefully I'll get other trilogies done in 2023, so that if I ever decide to do this tag again, I'll have something more to present to you guys. Not just the Cop-Out trilogy that now when I say Cop-Out, I don't mean that I didn't love it. Obviously, I did love the trilogy, it's just the only trilogy I've read, so I have nothing to compare it to. Okay, so number 4 is for Colleen Bird's favorite fictional beast or creature, and I said dragon, because I've read 2 dragon books, well, 3 you could technically count, because the Bone Ships kind of has dragons involved, with a dragon, the ships are made out of dragon bones, so they're dead dragons, but I read the 4th book in the Temeraire series earlier this year, which was set in Africa, which I love Temeraire. He's just the best. He's my I want Temeraire as a pet. I love him. He's so cute and fun, and I love his loyalty. He's so loyal and sweet, and just, he's awesome. And then the other dragon related book was the first in the duology Six Crimson Cranes. There's a really cool dragon. He's feisty and fun. Again, another fun dragon. He's snarky and rude. He doesn't like humans, but he likes the main character Shuri, and he's just... And he makes me think of a punk with he, like, as a human, I see him looking like a punk, you know, with the dyed hair and everything. Or maybe looking like... And then, of course, like, I haven't read the book yet. I haven't picked up the book again yet. But in the, you know, the Fire and Blood, the House of the Dragon series, the dragons were awesome, even though they could kill you. Like, I love dragons. They're awesome. I want a pet dragon. Of course, I wouldn't be dumb about it. I would try to be... I wouldn't assume... You know, I would very, very respectful to the dragon, and knowing it could kill me, could set me on fire if I piss it off. But dragons, I love dragons. Dragons are awesome. 5 golden rings. Okay, so show 5 golden books. Okay, give me a minute. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, almost. Okay, we got... Okay. Almost ready. That's 4. Okay, so here's my 5 golden books. We have The Last Argument of Kings. Let's see. Heartstone, Uprooted, Clash of Kings, and The Pillars of the Earth. These are my 5 golden books. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now we have 6 Geese Are Laying, a rotten eggs. So a book you did not like. Okay, there were 2 books that I was kind of disappointed with this year, and that was Part of Your World, The Little Mermaid Twisted Tale. But I've talked about that one enough. And I didn't hate that one. I was just disappointed by it. This one, and then the other one is The Truth About the Harry Quebert Affair, which I do not remember. I should have looked up the author's name, but now I don't remember. This was kind of a thriller, I think it would be considered. It was, something I was trying out, something a little different. The premise at the time sounded kind of interesting when I bought it. And it was a quick read, but I was not uncomfortable with the affair part. I was, I'm not the fact that the guy has an affair, but the fact that he has an affair with a young girl and thinks he's in love with her. They think they're in love, and I don't know how that's possible. The age difference, the age gap is huge. Like, he was in his 30s and she was a teenage girl. And yeah, maybe you feel like you have a connection with someone, and yes, you can have a crush and be infatuated with an older person. And lust, or even lust after a young person, because they have a young body, but I don't think you can be in love. That's not real love. To me, I don't know how you can fall in love with someone that's, because there's the fact that you are from 2 different generations, have different your interest in what you believe in and your mentalities are complete opposites of each other. And yes, a young teenage girl can be interested in opera and theater and mature things that older people, appreciate more, but that's not enough, in my opinion, to really connect and to feel like, oh, you're in love and stuff. I mean, I never really approve of those kinds of relationships where you see, a young woman in her 20s hooking up with an old guy, I don't get that, personally. I feel like, yeah, you can, fall in love with someone that's a little bit older than you, but not that huge of an age gap works for me. I mean, that does not work for me. That is weird to me, and, because how do you connect? You are a generation of you are a generation apart. You have different interests, you've had different experiences. Like, you will never have the same feelings about certain things, about a lot of things. I mean, you might have the same interests and have the same passions, but like, I do not approve of that. Really, I did not approve of that. And like I said, he made it so he was acting like he was in love. Granted, he does, what's good about the book is that he gets, like he gets condemned and judged for it. I mean, I almost feel sorry for him. I pity the guy, but it's like, you're the one thinking you're in love with a teenage girl. And think, who had a lot of mental health issues too. She had a lot of issues. And I'm not saying he took advantage, but still, she was not ready to have a serious relationship. Let alone with a much older than man. That was, and it's illegal. It was illegal for them to be together because she was 17 at the time. So I don't approve of that. I mean, I understand that they did not act like that was awesome, that was a good thing, but still, was not comfortable with the direction of that book and did not plan on reading it again. And it was put in the donation pile. I don't know if I got rid of it yet, but it might be under other books. But anyway, so yeah, so that was my answer. Sure, okay, so next. Okay, that was okay. Here's where it gets tricky and I had trouble coming up with answers. Okay, 7 swans are swimming. Show a books with water on the cover. Okay, actually I do have an answer for this one, that's right. Show a book with water on the cover. Where's that book at? Where's it? Where's I put it? I know it's somewhere around here. Oh, it's under. So, I picked this one for showing a book with water on the cover. I think this is a really pretty. This is the nice of the London docks. I think it's really pretty. It's kind of a. I don't know if it's supposed to be sunset or I don't know. I think it's supposed to be dusk. And it's just really, I think it's really beautiful, and I really like some of these classics. Some of the artwork they choose is really pretty. Now, some of the artwork just doesn't make any sense, and it feels like it doesn't fit the story, but this one was, I think this one does fit it, I think. I mean, I haven't read the book, but I've read a little bit. I know a little bit about what this book is about, and I think it does fit it. I'm not 100% sure on that. But anyway, I think this is a really pretty image of the Thames. Yeah, so that's the best I can come up with for showing a book with water on the cover. I'm glad we went to Big 7. Because it is 7 geese lay. 7 swans swimming, so it should. I'm just glad that the person that created this deck was like Big 7 books with water on the cover. Okay, so next is, now we're down to the books where I might not have an answer for. 8 Maids of Milking. What fictional food do you wish you could taste? And I don't have an answer for this one. Like, I could possibly come up with something from, like, a movie or a TV show, I think. Well, maybe not even then. So I don't have anything for this one. I don't have any food that I wish I could taste. In all honesty, I just don't have an answer for this one. But maybe you guys have an answer for this one if you do the tag. Okay, 9 Ladies Dancing. Favorite dance between 2 characters. Again, I didn't have an answer for this one. I guess I could say, like, with everybody else, I love, Darcy and Elizabeth's dance. Their little flirting back and forth. And especially the little witty back and forth between them when they're literally dancing is really fun. Like, those dance scenes are just, that's the way you engage a conversation back then. It would be really, we don't get to date like we do today. It's just really, so that's the only time. So it was kind of fun, the witty back and forth between the two of them. And I was just thinking about and I feel like, and you definitely, that's also reflected in Margaret Hale and John, what is his name? What's his last name? John Thornton in North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. It kind of is the same feel as Pride. It has the same feel as Pride and Prejudice, but there is a dance scene. There are two ball scenes and two party scenes. There's her cousin's wedding scene, but then there's the one where where Thornton's, him and his mom throw the party. I don't know. There's actually I think that's more of a dinner. I don't know if there's actually dancing in that one. So, yeah. So I don't really have any. I don't know if. I mean, I know that in Never After, I think there's probably, or the Ballad of Never After, or even Once Upon a Broken Heart, there are probably some dance scenes, but I don't remember because I don't think about this kind of stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have much of an answer. That's the best I could tell you is what I was just talking about. Okay, so this one I had trouble with, but I did come up with the answer. 10 Lords Are Leaping. Book to movie adaptation. So we'll leap to an adaptation. Okay, so I did listen to, I don't know if I listened to this here or not, but the audiobook for Charlie and Chocolate Factory, I listened to it the first time. It might have been last year I listened to that. And I definitely prefer the 1970s movie. Oh, I definitely think the 1970s movie adaptation was really great. And I was gonna say, because I was just thinking about Christmas Carol, I've loved the Muppet Christmas Carol and A Musical Christmas Carol. I think those are great adaptations. I know most people love the Muppet one, and I do, like everybody else. But check out you're missing out on the Hallmark's Christmas Carol the musical. A Musical Christmas Carol. I don't know what it's called, but the one with Kelsey Grammer as Scrooge. And Jesse L. Martin from Rent fame plays the Ghost of Christmas Present. Jennifer Love Hewitt plays Scrooge's former flame. And it's just such a good, I get so emotional listening to that one. So I was going to say that one, but then I decided to go with Lord of the Rings. Because it's always been my favorite. That's the one that kind of got me into Lord of the Rings in the first place, is the movie adaptation. And I have since decided to set my, I'm going to read the book. So I have started the book, and like I said back in November, I did start reading, or in early December, in the first week of December, I did start, finally got to the part when Frodo is leaving the Shire and has to tell the other hobbits he's going on this quest to destroy the ring. And but those movies, I think most people will agree, those were the original Lord of the Rings trilogy adaptation was one of the better. Now, I do believe I have heard that there are some people who are not happy with the adaptation. Most people, I think, will agree that the adaptation by Peter Jackson was awesome. And they still, and so I love that. That House of the Dragon is a great adaptation. I have only read the first chapter, though, of the book, so I can't really count that one. I do like what they're doing from what I've heard, that the TV show is what actually happened, while the Fire and Blood book is speculation of what might have happened, what people are thinking happened. I really like that concept. So, yeah, Lord of the Rings is my answer. But there's other adaptations, I'm sure, that I thought were great. That's the thing about adaptations, is a lot of times, either I enjoy it, but everyone else thinks it's a bad adaptation, or it's just I agree, and it's an okay adaptation. But it's hard. I think with adaptations, and they're their own thing anyway. So I feel like we're a little too judgmental sometimes of adaptations. Okay, so that was 10. 10 Lords Are Leaping. Okay, so this one I don't have an answer to, which is 11 Pipers Piping. Favorite book to movie adaptation soundtrack. Because honestly, I don't think about it. I mean, I do feel like I need to think about it more, the adaptation soundtrack. But, I never, I don't really, but honestly, I don't think about it. The music of an adaptation, Like I said, I feel like I should more, but, like I said, the Lord of the Rings music, again, was great music. The soundtrack of the Lord of the Rings was beautiful. But I've always been more of a, acting and the set and all that kind of person. Like, I don't think about the music as much. I mean, I do think about it a little bit more now. Because I've especially because I thought, with, obsessing over, what is his name? I cannot believe I can't think of his name. Danny Elfman and his music. Like, I love his music, and each of his music, it has its own signature style, but each one is still different at the same time for each of the movies he does. But yeah, that definitely makes me think about it more, a little bit more, but not by much. Like, but yeah, I don't really think about the soundtracks as much, which I probably should. Because, I mean, music definitely adds and enhances scenes a lot more. It's just, I couldn't give you an answer for this. Okay, so finally we're on the last one, and I was able to come up, okay, so this is where my other favorite book of the year comes into play. So, 12 Drummers Drumming. It's the end of the song. What's your favorite book ending? And I picked, where is it? My other favorite book's ending, which is the other Bennett sister, by Janice Hallow. I've been waiting to read this for a while when it first came out. It's been like a year or two now, and I finally spotted it at the roast office, so I immediately grabbed it and bought it. And the good news, this was before the price change, so I think it's cost a little bit more, hardbacks, but I think before they were only $4, but then they got, but this first time, I am so happy for Mary Bennett, this is her story. She gets to no longer be in the shadow of her family anymore and her overbearing mother. And she got her happy ending. And it felt very Austen-esque with the ending. It was intense. I was worried that it wouldn't work out, but then it finally happened. It did take a little bit of time, probably some unnecessary time, but it still worked out in the end. It was still happy. She got with the guy that she loved and who loved her. And it was such a, I was very happy with how things worked out. It was such a sweet story, and I love this. Like, especially because I think I connect more with Mary than I do with Elizabeth. And just, this was just so great. So that was my favorite ending of the year. So that is the tag, the 12 Days of Christmas book tag. If you want to do this tag, feel free to do this tag. Feel free to do it. Consider yourself tagged. I don't like tagging people because I don't know if they're going to even know that I tagged them. But if any of you guys who watch my channel channel is the one in are a booktuber, please do this tag. And if you like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification below if you want to be notified about my latest videos. And I hope you are having a good December this year. And I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye!